betrayed, forgotten. But fate does not let them let go. Olivia Carter, a poor girl who used to live on the streets, is now just a maid in the luxurious mansion of Benjamin Hayes, a powerful, cold politician who does not believe in love. But when she finds a keepsake in his room, all the buried memories suddenly come flooding back. Benjamin was the boy who promised to protect her forever. But why did his family abandon her? Why did she have to grow up in pain, while he lived a perfect life? When past and present collide, will their love stand or collapse? Benjamin is willing to give up everything for her, but can Olivia forgive the wounds of the past? A proposal, a hidden truth, and an unbreakable love. Watch until the end to discover the surprising twist. Washington, D.C. is the center of American power, where wealthy and ambitious politicians shape the future of the country. Amidst the lavish high-rises, scheming political parties, and heated debates, there is one man who stands at the top of this world. Benjamin Hayes. Benjamin Hayes, the powerful but lonely man. At 38, Benjamin has become one of the most influential politicians in the U.S. Senate. He is not only rich, but also a sharp strategist, an excellent speaker, and a popular voter. But behind the elegant appearance and the powerful blue eyes is a man with old wounds and things about his past that no one knows. Benjamin doesn't believe in love. For him, love is just a luxury that people like him don't have time to pursue. His world revolves around policies, power, and secret negotiations. He can control everything, from laws to elections. But his heart, he never let anyone touch it. His Washington, D.C. mansion was a symbol of wealth and success. A large mansion with glass walls overlooking the entire city, where countless important meetings had taken place. But inside, the coldness was overwhelming. There was no laughter, no family warmth. Only long, silent corridors, reflecting Benjamin himself, strong, proud, but lonely. In a small corner of that massive mansion, there was a girl working quietly. Olivia Carter, 26 years old, a strong woman with deep brown eyes and long black hair. She was not like the other servants. There was something about her that was self-respect, pride hidden deep under her humble appearance that made her different. Olivia is not your average maid. She had a hard time before, sleeping on park benches. With no parents or family, she had to fend for herself since she was a child. Those years have shaped Olivia into a strong woman. She never thought she would end up working as a maid in a luxurious mansion like this. But this was her only chance to have a stable life. She needed money to pay off her debts, to live, and to pursue her dream of going to college that she had long given up on. Olivia had been working here for a few months. She wasn't the only one in the mansion, but she was the only one Benjamin noticed, not because she was special, but because of something he couldn't explain. Every time their eyes met, he had a strange feeling, a strange familiarity that he couldn't explain. One late afternoon, Olivia was cleaning in the mansion's library, a huge room filled with hundreds of political books and important manuscripts. The afternoon sunlight filtered through the glass windows, casting a golden glow over the quiet space. She ran her hand over the bookshelf, stopping suddenly before an old photo frame placed in the corner. In the photo was a boy about 10 years old, with strong blue eyes, standing next to a younger girl, smiling brightly, but with something very familiar. Olivia's heart pounded. The girl in the picture looks a lot like her when she was little. But that couldn't be. There was no way someone like Benjamin could have known her. She shook her head, trying to shake off the strange feeling, but the image of the photograph haunted her all evening. As Olivia was absorbed in thinking about that photo, a low voice rang out from behind. "What are you doing?" Olivia turned around, startled. Benjamin stood in the doorway, arms crossed over his chest, his sharp eyes fixed on her. She swallowed, trying to keep calm. "I was just cleaning, sir." Benjamin stepped in, his eyes flicking to the photo she had just seen. Something flashed across his face. Surprise? Or maybe confusion? But in a split second, he regained his usual cool demeanor. "Don't touch things that have nothing to do with your work." His voice was cold. Olivia bowed her head, but as she walked out of the room, she could still feel Benjamin's eyes on her. Neither of them knew that their pasts were just a coincidence. They were not strangers. They were each other's everything. They just don't realize it yet. Late at night in Washington, D.C., the sky was pitch black, like a heavy blanket covering the city. In Benjamin Hayes's large mansion, the light in his office was still on. Inside, Benjamin sat leaning back in his chair, running his hand through his messy black hair. Today was a bad day. The political meetings that lasted for hours had worn down his patience. The pressure, the infighting, the lurking plots, all of it had left him feeling exhausted. He poured himself a glass of wine and took a long drink, but the alcohol did nothing to ease the tension in his heart. Benjamin did not like this feeling of weakness and alienation in the very world he ruled. Olivia was about to go home when she heard a strange noise coming from Benjamin's office. She hesitated for a second, then walked over. The door was not closed tightly, and through the crack, she saw Benjamin sitting motionless, his eyes vacant. Olivia had never seen him like this. Benjamin had always been a strong politician, a man of perfect appearance, cold and proud. But now, he looked lonely. Without thinking, Olivia gently pushed the door open and entered. "Mr. Hayes, are you okay?" Benjamin looked up, startled, his blue eyes meeting hers with concern. A second later, he turned away, trying to regain his usual composure. "What are you doing here?" he asked, his voice hoarse. Olivia stepped closer, glancing at the glass of wine in his hand. "I just don't see you're well." Benjamin chuckled, but there was no mirth in it. "Do you think I need someone to care about me?" Olivia was silent for a few seconds. Then she walked to the desk, took the glass from his hand, and set it down. "You may not need it, but that doesn't mean no one cares." Her voice was soft, but firm. Benjamin looked at her, his eyes wavering slightly. For the first time in many years, someone cared about him not because of his power or reputation. A strange feeling crept into his heart. After that night, Benjamin began to pay more attention to Olivia. He couldn't deny that whenever she was around, he felt a strange sense of peace. Olivia noticed it too. Although Benjamin kept his cool demeanor, she occasionally caught him looking at her, deep in thought. One morning, Olivia was tending the garden behind the villa when Benjamin appeared. He stood with his arms crossed, watching her water the plants. "Do you like plants?" he asked. Olivia looked up, slightly surprised by this sudden attention. "I like taking care of them. Plants don't betray anyone," she replied, her voice slightly sarcastic. Benjamin raised his eyebrows. "Not all people betray." Olivia was silent for a moment, then smiled slightly. "So, Mr. Hayes, have you ever trusted anyone?" Benjamin didn't answer right away. For a moment, Olivia saw something flash in his eyes, an old pain, or a memory he didn't want to talk about. "A long time ago. Maybe I did," he said softly, then turned away. At that time, Olivia didn't know that she was the only person he ever trusted. They just didn't recognize each other. One evening, as Olivia was returning from buying some groceries, she was stopped by a strange man. "Carter, long time no see." He smirked. Olivia stepped back, her heart pounding. He was one of the men who had forced her family into debt. "I don't have any money, leave me alone," she said, her voice trembling slightly. He stepped forward, his rough hand grabbing her wrist. "Do you think you can hide forever? I know you work for a big boss. Fine, I'll get the money from him." Before Olivia could react, a low voice rang out from behind. "Let her go." The man turned around in surprise. Benjamin was standing there, his eyes cold and his face full of murderous intent. "This is none of your business," he stammered. Benjamin said nothing more. He just stepped forward, his eyes making the other man step back. I'll be back," he muttered and ran away. Olivia stood still, breathing heavily. Benjamin turned to look at her. "Who is he?" Olivia swallowed and shook her head. "It's nothing. It's just an old story." Benjamin looked at her for a long time. He knew Olivia was hiding something, and for the first time in his life, he felt a strange unease. Not because she is his maid, but because she has begun to have a special place in his heart. Benjamin's mansion was as quiet as ever, but in Olivia's heart, a storm was brewing. Ever since the encounter with the debt collector, Benjamin seemed to care more about her. He didn't ask directly, but Olivia could feel his eyes on her, as if he was trying to piece together something. Olivia couldn't stop thinking about Benjamin, about the strange familiar feeling she had whenever she looked into his eyes, about the old photo she had seen in the library, and especially the feeling that her heart was leading her to a truth she couldn't quite reach. One afternoon, while cleaning Benjamin's study, Olivia accidentally bumped into a drawer stuck in the large wooden desk. Curious, she gently pulled it, and the drawer suddenly opened. Inside was a small old wooden box. On the lid, there was a faint carving, a small star shape that Olivia felt strangely familiar. Her heart beat fast as she opened the box. Inside was an old silver necklace with a small pendant engraved with a lily. Olivia froze. This is her mother's necklace. She remembered it clearly. When she was little, her mother gave it to her and said, "Wherever you go, always keep it with you. It will protect you." But the bracelet disappeared when she was very young, on the fateful day she was taken to the orphanage. Why is it here? Why does Benjamin keep it? A flood of questions rushed through Olivia's mind. She tightened her grip on the bracelet, then turned and rushed out of the study. She needs answers. Benjamin was standing on the balcony when Olivia rushed in. Without hesitation, she threw the bracelet onto the table in front of him. "Explain? Why is it here?" Benjamin looked at the bracelet, then slowly lifted it. When his eyes met it, something inside him changed. He paused, as if a distant memory had come flooding back. "Olivia, where did you get that?" he asked, his voice low. Olivia clenched her fists. "In your study. This bracelet used to belong to my mother." Benjamin stared at her, his breath almost stopping. Then suddenly, he exhaled. "Impossible," he muttered, his eyes filled with shock. Olivia took a step forward. "Benjamin, who am I to you?" He looked at her for a long time, then gently closed his eyes. "I'm Olivia," he said, his voice shaking slightly. "Olivia Carter." Olivia held her breath. "You know me?" Benjamin smiled slightly, but the smile was filled with pain. "No, I don't just know you. I've been looking for you for years." Benjamin slowly placed the bracelet on the table, his eyes becoming distant. "I knew you a long time ago, Olivia. More than 20 years ago, when I was 8 years old. I lived in an orphanage. And there, I met a little girl." Olivia clenched her fists, her heart pounding. Benjamin continued. "She had long black hair, big round eyes, and she always smiled despite the harsh life in the orphanage. He promised her that he would always protect her. Forever." Olivia felt her whole body tremble. "You?" she choked. Benjamin looked at her, his eyes full of emotion. "Olivia, you are that girl." The air seemed to freeze. Olivia could barely breathe. The hazy memories she had forgotten now slowly emerged of the cold days in the orphanage. A boy older than her who would hold her hand whenever she was scared. A promise whispered in her ear every night. "I will protect you. Forever." She burst into tears. "But Why were we separated? Why didn't you come looking for me? Benjamin clenched his fists. I looked for you, and then you disappeared, he said, his voice low. My family. They adopted you. Olivia was stunned. What? Benjamin nodded. My parents adopted you when you were 8 years old. I remember that day clearly. I was so happy. I thought we finally had a family. Olivia was stunned. She doesn't remember anything about this. But if they adopted me, why don't I remember anything? Why did I become homeless? Benjamin closed his eyes, his voice turning bitter. I don't know. All I remember is that one day when I woke up, you were gone. My parents never mentioned you again. They just said you weren't there anymore, but they didn't say why. Olivia felt her heart being squeezed. Am I abandoned? Benjamin looked at her, his blue eyes filled with pain. I don't know what happened, but I swear, I never stopped looking for you. The air was filled with painful silence. Olivia took a step back, feeling like her world was collapsing around her. She had spent her whole life searching for answers about her past, and now it was more painful than she could have imagined. Benjamin stepped closer, his voice softer than ever. I'm sorry I didn't find you sooner. Olivia looked up at him, tears streaming down her cheeks. She didn't know if she could forgive the fate that had torn them apart, but one thing she knew for sure. She and Benjamin were no strangers. They were each other's everything. Benjamin's mansion was quiet, but inside Olivia's heart, a storm was raging. She couldn't believe what she just heard. She and Benjamin were once each other's everything, but he lived a life of luxury and power, while she struggled on the streets, abandoned without explanation. Benjamin says he found her, but is that enough to erase the years she suffered? For many days after that, Olivia tried to avoid Benjamin. She didn't know how to face him. Every time she saw him, she remembered the promise he had made years ago, the promise he had broken. Benjamin didn't push her either. He gave her space, but Olivia knew he was always watching her. One night, as she was sitting on the porch, Benjamin walked up, a coat in his hand. It's cold, he said, gently draping it over her shoulders. Olivia said nothing, just looked away. But Benjamin did not give up. I can't change the past, but I want to make it up to you. His voice was warm, but there was something painful in it. Olivia clenched her fists. You can't make up for all the years I was abandoned, she replied, her voice choked. Benjamin was silent for a moment, then said softly, Then let me find out the truth. I want to know why we were separated. Olivia turned to look at him. In his blue eyes, she saw determination and pain. She couldn't deny one thing. He never stopped caring about her. But is that enough? The next morning, Benjamin left. He went to his parents, the only people who could give him answers. The conversation between him and his parents was tense. His father, Congressman William Hayes, was a stern, cold man, while his mother, Eleanor, remained elegant but a little confused when she saw her son angry. You shouldn't bring up old matters, Benjamin, William said firmly. So it's true? You two adopted Olivia? Benjamin asked. His mother sighed. Yes, we adopted her, but then… And then what? Benjamin interrupted coldly. His father stared at him, then said a sentence that made the whole room freeze. We were forced to send her away because of a political deal. Benjamin felt like someone had just punched him in the chest. What? His voice was hoarse. His mother turned away, but his father remained calm as if it was nothing serious. Our family was building a reputation in the political world at that time. Adopting a black orphan at that time could have affected important relationships, William said. Benjamin couldn't believe his ears. So you two just dumped Olivia? We didn't throw it away. We took it to a better place, William replied. Benjamin laughed bitterly. A better place? Did you know Olivia was living on the streets? He growled. His mother was in tears. I don't know, Benjamin. I had no say in it then. Your father arranged everything. Benjamin clenched his fists, trying to contain the anger that was rising inside him. "You two ruined her life," he said, then turned and left. "I know what I have to do." He won't let Olivia out of his life again. At the villa, Olivia sat by the bed, looking at her neatly packed suitcase. After learning the reason why they left her behind, she can't be here anymore. No matter what Benjamin says, the fact remains that his family abandoned her as a pawn in their power game, and she couldn't let herself get caught up in it again. She stood up, dragged her suitcase to the door, but when she opened the door, she saw Benjamin standing there. "I won't let you go," he said, his voice firm. Olivia clenched her fists on her suitcase. "Benjamin, I can't be here. I don't belong in your world." He stepped closer, his eyes burning. "You've always been in my world, Olivia. You're my family." Olivia turned away. "Your family abandoned me." Benjamin lifted her chin, forcing her to look at him. "I'm not them, and I'll never let you leave me again." Olivia looked into his eyes. She saw the sincerity in them and the pain he was feeling. But can she trust him again? Washington, D.C. is always bustling, but tonight, in Benjamin's vast mansion, there was only silence. Olivia stood by the window, looking out into the night. She had longed for a family, a place to belong. But after all, could she ever let herself trust again? Behind her, Benjamin stepped forward, his eyes steady. "I will prove to you that my love is true." The next morning, Olivia woke up to a series of messages on her phone. When she opened it, her heart stopped beating. On television, on news sites, everywhere Benjamin's image appeared, along with a statement that shocked the entire political world. At an important press conference, in front of hundreds of reporters, Benjamin stood up and said clearly, "I, Benjamin Hayes, love Olivia Carter. I don't care about status. I don't care about gossip. She is the most important person to me, and I will protect her at all costs." Olivia covered her mouth, tears welling up. Benjamin put his entire career at risk, just to prove that his love was true. Not long after, Benjamin's parents came to Olivia. They saw their son willing to give up everything for her, and they knew they were wrong. His mother, Eleanor, took Olivia's hand, her eyes full of remorse. "I know nothing can change the past, but I'm truly sorry. We made a terrible mistake." Father Benjamin, the once tough and emotionless man, also bowed his head. "I don't expect you to forgive me immediately, but if possible, please give us a chance to make things right." Olivia looked at them for a long time. She used to think she would hate them forever, but now, standing before them, she realized hate doesn't ease the pain. Only forgiveness can help her truly move on. She nodded slightly. It's not an immediate forgiveness, but an opportunity for healing. A week later, Olivia received a text message from Benjamin. "Come out to the back garden. I have a surprise for you." She walked down to the garden behind the villa where they had had memorable moments. There, in the midst of the glittering lights, stood Benjamin, dressed in a smart suit. As Olivia approached, he knelt down and opened a red velvet box. "Olivia Carter, I lost you once, and I swear I'll never let it happen again. Do you want to walk the rest of the way with me?" Olivia looked at the sparkling ring, then into Benjamin's sincere eyes. She had no more doubts. She smiled, tears of happiness falling. "Yes." Benjamin stood up, holding her tightly, amidst the shimmering lights of Washington, D.C. Finally, after many challenges, they found each other. No more secrets, no more barriers. Only love remains. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this story. If you like this story, don't forget to like to support the channel and subscribe so you don't miss any stories.